It's not every day that I meet someone else who has dedicated their entire life to visiting every country in the world. I mean, more people have been to outer space than have stepped foot in all 197 countries. So in today's video, I want to introduce you to 3 incredible travelers who have done exactly that. And we start with an amazing Guinness World Record breaker.
Hi, I'm Lexi, and I'm officially the youngest person to travel to every country in the world.
22-year-old Lexi comes from a small mountainous town in Northern California, and she's essentially been traveling since she was born.
So I started traveling when I was really young with my family who owns a travel agency in our small town, and my parents would travel a lot for work, and thankfully they would never leave me at home when they went on their adventures abroad. And I actually ended up going to around 70 or so countries by the time I turned 18.
Contrary to what it may seem, Lexi did get an early college degree and first heard about the youngest person to visit every country when she was on a gap year.
I found that the current record holder was 24 and a half, and I was 18 at the time. I am a very strong advocate for female solo travel because it's been something that changed my life so much and empowered me so much as a woman. And one of the things that I wanted to learn when I was traveling to every country was, is it possible for a young woman to do this? And thankfully, I found out that there was more kindness in the world than anything else, and I was welcomed in every country without having any serious problems that were anything that wouldn't have happened anywhere else in the world. I had actually 2 rules for every country that I went to traveling as a woman. One of them is that I do not get intoxicated while I'm traveling by myself, and I also don't go out at night by myself. Typically, travelers get in the worst kinds of situations when they're, drunk by themselves at night. And those thankfully are really avoidable situations. I think that traveling when I was so young made me mature more quickly because I had so many different perspectives on the world, from what life is like in rural Thailand to what it's like in Dubai. So it made me really grateful for everything that I had at home.
It's been super cool to meet Lexi in person after being online friends for so long. She's one of the most awesome, fearless, and courageous travelers out there, and we surely will never run out of things to talk about. Next, I'd like to introduce you to another inspiring member of the Every Country Club who I got a chance to meet with recently in Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Melissa Roy, and I'm the first South Asian woman to visit every single country in the world. So my first real trip as an adult, I would say, is Buenos Aires, Argentina. I did my entire sophomore year there studying abroad, and that got me hooked on traveling. So I started exploring all of South America. When most students go to Europe, that's the typical study abroad. I wanted to do something different.
But when Melissa was younger, her life wasn't always filled with traveling and happiness.
I had a pretty unusual and difficult childhood, especially being an Indian girl. Most Indians that come to the US, they struggle anyway being a minority, but I had it worse because my parents got divorced when I was 6 years old. But my whole childhood was pretty traumatic, lots of domestic violence, police visits, and it kind of culminated with a brutal divorce and custody battle and restraining order, amongst other things. But basically, someone close to me suffers from a mental disorder, and that kind of caused all of this. So traveling was a way for me to just get away from everything, because the familiar was painful. And I thought I would be able to find the answers or happiness elsewhere. It satisfied a lot of my needs, and I found comfort and solace in strangers. because I didn't have that familial support. I would say like 99% of my trips I do solo because I just can't find enough people who have enough vacation days or money to travel.
As she continued to travel and save money, Melissa preferred to sleep on people's couches instead of hotels to grow a stronger connection to the local culture.
I would say 99.9% of my experiences were good. I mean, every now and then you might get a creepy guy, but that happens just anywhere, walking down the street at the promenade in Santa Monica.
Amazingly, she has kept in touch with almost all of the 200 plus locals who have hosted her.
And jokingly, I say if I ever get married, I might just like return the favor and invite all my couch surfing hosts and host them all like in one spot, like in a hotel or something.
Traveling to every country is an incredibly challenging feat, and I really admire Melissa's passion and courage. She wants to be an inspiration for other female travelers to follow her footsteps, and that's exactly why I told you her story today. And last but not least, let's meet a man who has continued to push himself and surpass every travel goal that he has set for himself. I take you to the country of Ethiopia, where I met Lee Abamonte.
My name is Lee Abamonte, and I've been to every single country in the world. I've been to every US state, every US national park, both the North and South Poles, and almost every major stadium in the world. My inspiration to travel in the beginning was that one of my best friends was going to study abroad in London. I had never been out of the country, and it just seemed like a fun thing to do, and you didn't have to be 21 to drink in London. I didn't decide to go to every country until about 2007 or so, after I'd already been to about 100 countries. My original goal was to go to 100 countries by the time I was 30, and I hit that back in 2006, and then I just kept going from there.
On August 28, 2011, Lee became the youngest American at the time to visit all 193 UN member states.
The proudest moment of my travel life, without question, was reaching the South Pole, like the actual geographic South Pole, not just Antarctica, and then the North Pole about a year and a half after that, without question, because so few people have been to both poles, let alone every country, so that's kind of one of my claims to fame.
Social media was never that popular during his travels. Sure, it was around, but the word influencer wasn't even born yet, and the value of leveraging social media is now astronomical compared to what opportunities he had before. In my case, I'm making a living off social media, and I use it to get sponsors and freebies to lower my travel costs. But for Lee, he had to pay for all of his travels out of his own pocket from money that he had saved.
So now when I see how things are going now, I'm like blown away, and I wish I could have some of that money I spent back, but I wouldn't change anything.
Not only did he finish the UN countries, he's visited 321 unique territories such as the Pitcairn Islands, Tokelau, Greenland, and Mayotte. Are you the world's most traveled man?
No, I am not the world's most traveled person. However, I think that's a silly title anyway, and it's completely subjective. People can go places a million times or fly a million miles, and does that make them more traveled than someone who's been to a lot of places and just put a foot in over a border and then left? So I don't know how you define the most traveled people, but it's a fun argument to have.
Nowadays, Lee makes a living by being a travel expert on TV. He is a spokesman for several multinational corporations, does public speaking gigs around the world, is a travel writer, and just enjoys life about as much as anyone possibly can.
I'm not really big on inspirational quotes, but travel, whether you have traveled a little bit or not at all, just get out there and do it, because it's life-changing, and it just opens your eyes and your mind to different cultures and different ideas than you're used to thinking. And me, I think I'm gonna head over to Mogadishu, Somalia with my boy Drew.
Yeah, dude, can't wait, man.
Yes, sir.
As Lee said, if you're ever thinking about traveling, just do it. The world is a huge playground for all of us to experience new things and share moments that we would otherwise miss if we remained in familiar surroundings. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It really means the world to me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button below so you can stay updated on all my travel videos as I go to every country in the world, and also ring that little bell icon so you can get a notification when I post a new video. Lastly, if you're on Instagram, hit me up at Drew Binsky. I share a lot of behind the scenes live content on Instagram stories for my trips. With that all being said, have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.